Hey, shalom everybody. This is student of YHWH. Student of YHWH. And I'm just back at it with another quick video. And I wanted to do a quick lesson on how Esau himself was not white. Again, Esau himself was not white. And what I'm going to do is, I'm going to go into the Bible, of course. I'm going to go into the Hebrew, the Strong Concordance. And I'm going to go into history to prove without any shadow of a doubt that Esau himself was not white. And when I say white, I don't mean white as in this. When I say white, I mean Esau was not white as in the Europeans that you see. I mean that Esau was not white as in Donald Trump. Esau was not so-called white. So what I'm going to do is, I'm going to pick it off at the birth of Esau. So let's go to Genesis chapter 25. And I'm going to prove without any shadow of a doubt that Esau himself was not white. This is Genesis chapter 25, verse 23. And before I start, I just wanted to let everybody know that I read from the Scriptures translation. Again, the Scriptures translation is by the ISR. I recommend that in every video to check out this translation. It's a great translation. So this is Genesis chapter 25, verse 23. It says, "And Yahuwah said to her, 2 nations are in your womb, and 2 people shall be separated from your body. And 1 people shall be stronger than the other, and the older serve the younger." So right here, you have to understand that Rebecca was pregnant. She was pregnant with twins. And it says 2 nations were in her womb. So that's simple. 2 nations was in her womb. Esau represents a nation. Jacob represents a nation. Just like Noah. By Noah, you have Ham. That's a nation. Shem. That's a nation. And Japheth. That's a nation. And they populated the whole earth. So this is the same concept. That by this couple, 2 different nationalities came by this one couple. Let's keep reading. Verse 24. "And when the days were filled for her to give birth, and see, twins were in her womb." So a lot of Hebrew Israelites, they will say, see that? They were twins. Fraternal twins. But that is not true. Esau and Jacob were identical twins. Let's prove that. What I'm going to do is, I'm going to go into some history. And as a lot of Hebrew Israelites know of this historian, Flavius Josephus. He talks about Esau and Jacob. So what I'm going to do is, I'm going to go into the Josephus. And I'm just going to read the part about Esau and Jacob. And this is the Antiquities of the Jews 1.269. Again, this is the Antiquities of the Jews. It says, and I'm actually going to start at 270. So Antiquity of the Jews 1.270. It says, "Now when the supper was got ready, he took a goat skin and put it about his arm, that by reason of its hairy roughness he might by his father be believed to be Esau. For they being twins, and all thing else alike, differed only in this thing." Let me read that again. Now when the supper was got ready, he took a goat skin and put it about his arms, that by reason of its hairy roughness he might by his father be believed to be Esau, for they being twins and in all thing else alike, differed only in this thing. So according to Flavius Josephus, Esau and Jacob looked everything and like except for one thing. Esau was hairy. That's right, Esau was hairy. That was the only difference between Esau and Jacob, was his hairy skin. And you can read that in Genesis, I believe Genesis chapter 48 or 49. So let's go back to Genesis chapter 25. And let's go back to verse 24. And when the days were filled for her to give birth, and see, twins were in her womb. Now remember, according to history, Flavius Josephus, he even said that they looked just alike, identical twins. Only different in one thing. Esau was hairy. And the Bible is going to even prove that. Verse 25. And the first came out red all over, like a hairy garment. So they called his name Esau. So you see that? Esau was hairy. And it says that the first came out red. Now, a lot of Hebrew Israelites will say, you see that? He came out red. Well, let's study to show ourselves approved. And let's look up this word red. So what we're going to do is we're going to go back into the, or we're going to go into the Strong Concordance. And let's look up this red in Genesis chapter 25 and verse 25. Let's see. That word red is H119. Again, H119. It means reddish. It means of the hair or the complexion. Red or ruddy. So Esau was red or ruddy. Red or ruddy, huh? The Hebrew word H119, red or ruddy. Did y'all know that Adam was also described as the same Hebrew word, red or ruddy? So was Adam also a so-called white man? Let's prove that Adam also was described as red or ruddy. Let's go into the Bible and let's go to Genesis chapter 2. So we see that Flavius Josephus said that Esau and Jacob looked just alike. They looked just alike. It was just that Esau was hairy. Now, let's go to Genesis chapter 2. Let's go to verse 7. It says, And Yahuwah Elohim formed the man out of dust from the ground, and breathed into his nostrils breath of life, and the man became a living soul. So, let's go into the Hebrew, and let's go to Genesis chapter 2. And let's look up this word, man. This is talking about Adam. This is Genesis chapter 2, verse 7. Now, when you look up that word, man, it's the Hebrew word 120. Here's the root word. The root word is H119. It's the same word that described Esau. Reddish, red, or ruddy. And Esau was made from what? The dust of the ground. So what I'm going to do here, I want to show y'all some soil. That is soil. That's the dust of the ground. Adam was formed from the dust of the ground. And when you see this, when you see that, that is not a white color. This is a brown color with a reddish glow to it. Look at it. It's a brown color with a reddish glow to it. This is the same word that described Esau. Remember, these were identical twins. They looked just alike. It was just that Esau was hairy. So you see Adam being described also as red, ruddy. And he was made from the dust of the ground. When you look at the ground, it's brown with a reddish glow. Let's get more. Did you know that Samuel was also described as the same word Esau and Adam was described? Let's prove it. Let's go to 1 Samuel 16. Let's go to 1 Samuel chapter 16. And we're going to read verse 12. Again, this is 1 Samuel chapter 16, verse 12. It says, and he sent and brought him in, and he was ruddy. The same word described for Esau and Adam is also described for Solomon. And if you don't believe this is Solomon, let's read the verse before that. Let's go to verse 11. It says, there remains yet the youngest, and see, he is tending the sheep. And Solomon said to Yashe, send and bring him, for we do not turn around till he comes here. And he sent and brought him in, and he was ruddy. You see that? So Solomon was also ruddy. Don't believe me? Let's look into the Hebrew again. Let's look into the Hebrew. And let's go to 1 Samuel chapter 16. Remember, through thy precepts you get understanding. 1 Samuel chapter 16 and verse 12. And he sent and brought him in. Now he was ruddy. That word ruddy is H132. It's from H119. Reddish, red, ruddy. Solomon was a black man, and he looked just like that picture. Solomon was brown with a reddish glow. You see many of our people that look like this. They are brown with a nice reddish glow to them. This is how Esau looked. This is how Adam looked. This is how Solomon looked. But did you know that King David was also described as this same word, ruddy? Let's read it. Let's go to 1 Samuel 17. The next chapter, this is 1 Samuel chapter 17. And this is verse 42. It says, when the Philistine looked about and saw David, he despised him, for he was a youth and ruddy and of a handsome appearance. So they describe King David as ruddy and handsome. So being ruddy, being red, just like Esau, is looked upon as handsome. It's a beautiful color. Let's go into the Hebrew. Let's go into the Hebrew to prove that even King David was also described as ruddy, and is that same word that's described as Esau, that is described as Adam, that is described as Solomon, is also described for King David. Let's go to 1 Samuel again in the concordance. 17 and 42. Let's see what this word ruddy means. That word ruddy, H132, is from the Hebrew word H119. It's the same word. Reddish, red, ruddy. King David also was described as ruddy. Check this picture out again. Remember, Adam was made from the dust of the ground. When you look into the ground, it's a brown color with a reddish glow. And let me prove even more that this ruddy is a brown color with a reddish glow to it. Let's prove it even more. So what we're going to do now, we're going to go to, let's see here. We're going to go to Samuel. Give me 1 second. Let's prove even more that this ruddy is a brown color with a reddish glow. Again, a brown color with a reddish glow. Just give me 1 second here. Let me just look up this verse. See, red heifer. That's what we're going to do. We're going to look up a red heifer, which is Numbers chapter 19. Again, let's go to Numbers chapter 19. And we're going to prove even more that this ruddy is a brown color with a reddish complexion, a reddish glow to it. So what we're going to do, we're going to go into a red heifer. Let's go into Numbers chapter 19. And let's go to verse 2. It says, "This is the law of the Torah, which Yahuwah has commanded, saying, speak to the children of Israel, that they bring you a red heifer, a perfect one, in which there is no blemish, and on which a yoke has never come." So a red heifer, huh? Let's go to Numbers chapter 19 verse 2 in the Strong Concordance. And let's look up this red heifer. And let's find out if this is the same word that's described as everybody we looked up. So this is Numbers chapter 19 verse 2. And when you look into the Hebrew, that word red is H122. The root word is from H119. It means red, ruddy. Now what I'm going to do, I'm going to go into a red heifer on Google. And let's see how a red heifer looks. Is it an actual red? This is a red heifer. It's a brown heifer with a red glow. This is a red heifer. This is the same red or ruddy or reddish that describes Esau, that describes Adam, that describes Solomon, that describes King David, and the same red word that describes a red heifer. So with that, brothers and sisters, without any shadow of a doubt, that Esau himself was not so-called white. Esau looked just like his brother, identical twins. The only thing was different was Esau was very hairy. And Most High willing, I will be doing more videos proving how Esau is not the so-called white man, and his descendants are not either. With that, shalom.